Welcome to Cozying Up with the Clear Cut, where we get up close and personal with women that inspire us. This week we're cozying up with one of the most hilarious content creators and one of my personal favorites, Talia Lichstein. You may have seen her on your TikTok For You page telling us all the things she hates in the funniest and most refreshing ways. We talk about dealing with trolls, the woke police, and all the things she hates and loves about the diamonds we chose for her. Hey everyone, and welcome to Cozying Up with the Clear Cut, where we get up close and personal with women that inspire us. Today I'm with one of my favorite content creators and internet personalities, Talia Lichstein. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
So I was chatting with you and I was like, I feel like I know you. I follow you on TikTok and Instagram, and you are just so personal and you like share so much about your life. What did you think you'd be doing when you were like a little kid? Like what did you want to be when you grew up?
As a very little kid, it was always, I want to be on Broadway. I want to be a performer. Like, I think I did have this spirit of entertaining in me from a very young age, but I didn't know exactly that it would be this type of thing. Also, none of us could imagine at the time when I was a kid. This didn't exist. We just had the internet starting. Like, we didn't have anything like this where you could broadcast your entire life. So I guess I saw myself being entertaining and funny and talking to people. And then as I got a little bit older, like as a teen, I thought, okay, I'll do something where I'm interviewing people. I want to do a talk show. I want to have my own show. But still, it wasn't like the world is going to know about my sex life. The world is going to know what I'm eating for lunch. Like that is just, it's a whole new genre of entertainment that I'm like breaking into now. So I could imagine that I would be in this world, but I didn't know how.
And how did that journey like happen for you?
I came out of college having studied journalism and poli-sci and media. Like that was my big focus throughout my academic life. And I always knew that I would want to go into some mix of news and entertainment, comedy. So I didn't want to take the traditional path that comedians take. There's a whole New York City comedy scene. I thought maybe I'd move across the country because I'd been in California my whole life and I didn't want to do the stand-up thing. I thought that I was so much funnier. If I was going to pursue comedy, I thought I was better on paper or on video. I just knew I'm not really a good, I don't know, it's still yet to be seen. We'll have to try it at some point, but that wasn't my I didn't think about that being the goal. And then I started making these videos thinking I'll do some sort of BuzzFeed situation. I'll be like the Try Guys and I'll have a series on BuzzFeed or on Refinery 29 where I am a host of something. So I was applying to those things after college and I figured I should have content of myself online that these people could see so that when they hired me, they know what I would sound like. So I started making the TikTok videos, and then in early to mid-June, I kind of got really consistent with them and started making them more and more, and that took off. So I thought,
This past June. Wow, so quick.
Yeah, it's been really quick. And I thought, okay, for the summer, I'll stay in my parents' house and I will just keep making these videos and see how far it gets me. And if I don't get anywhere with it, if I don't get like a podcast or something out of it by the fall, I will take my dad's advice and do a 9-to-5. And it wound up okay. So here I am.
And did your content start out like super personal, or what did you start out with? Because it was like for people that you were potentially going to work for, right?
Right. I mean, I always knew I wouldn't be doing any sort of job. It's not like I was going to go work in law or I was going to go work for the Department of Justice. Like it was not going to be very serious, whatever I did. So I knew that I could, for whatever job I was going to do, it wouldn't be an issue that I'm cursing online. Whoever I'm applying to, my family would try to tell me, Talia, you shouldn't have this stuff online if you're trying to apply to these places. I'm like, I'm trying to work for like, I don't know, I want to write for a late night show at some point. Like these are my biggest goals. They wouldn't care that I'm cursing. They wouldn't care that I'm talking about sex. So that's the really cool perk of this, is that like your online presence can be very adult and very, raunchy, and these employers don't care. So that's what I was, it didn't start off very personal. It started more just the things I hate, which was my personal opinions and tastes about random.
I love that.
Thank you. I love it too. It's just random stuff.
Yeah. And
then that turned into, I think more when I moved to New York, people got really interested in my day-to-day. So it became a lot more vloggy. But I try to incorporate both now.
And what does your family think about your like online career?
They are so supportive. They just get a little bit confused sometimes. Like they...
Understandably,
of course. Like, I mean, look, as I said, I always wanted to do something like this as a kid. They knew that I would go into this type of field. They are extremely. I'm just thankful that they understand the logistics of it. They understand this is a legitimate business, and they're like not worried about me in the sense that how is she gonna make ends meet? But they do sometimes call me and try to give me advice or critiques about, you shouldn't be doing this online. Like exactly what we said. Like what if people in the future see these things? Or my dad gets worried, like, you're talking about sex. It's weird for a dad to see this with his daughter. Like, I get it. I totally get it. And what I tell them is like, you just, things that you don't want to see, like you can't watch it. If it's gonna freak you out that I'm like sleeping over at a random guy's house, like at the end of the day, you have to trust that I'm being safe. And if you can't do that, you just can't watch it. So my family's so supportive. They're just a little worried sometimes. Right. And they have like, they think that they don't really get the humor of it sometimes because they're older. So they think that they can tell me what's going on. And I have to like say, you just don't watch. Just stop looking because you're not going to get it.
Stop all.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have your own podcast now. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What is it about? How did that come to fruition? Tell us about that.
I mean, I started working with Betches right after this whole thing started happening in the summer, like right after the first couple videos went viral. I was having an issue with monetizing the platform and figuring out like, how am I going to, I want to make videos for other people. I still wanted to follow that goal and not just be a content creator for myself. So I was talking to Betches about doing a 4-video deal where I would make some TikToks for their Instagram account, and I got to know them pretty well. And they had this idea to pair me together with this girl, Alexis, who is a part-time digital content creator, full-time content strategist at Google. So we happened to know each other already, and we got along great just from like the influencer world that I just been introduced to. So we tell Betches, like, actually, we do know each other and we can prove it. Like we would make a great podcast pair. They give us a couple opportunities to do little demos for them, kind of pitch this idea. And that's how it came to be. And it's been a long time coming. That started all in like August, September.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
wow,
it was just a
congrats.
matter of, thank you. It was a matter of me moving out here and like getting it done, getting it started.
And it's called Bad Vibes,
It's called Bad Vibes.
And what's the premise for the podcast?
It's a lot about, it's personality based. It's a lot about our personal lives, but the whole concept is that nobody on the internet is safe. That's like the tagline. We're supposed to be sharing our opinions, which in our worlds, like these are objective. You can't argue with an opinion. How I feel about a certain influencer, celebrity, artist, show, these things are supposed to be, you're free to share them. So long as it's not bigotry or just for the purpose of being mean, you can share your opinions. So that's what the whole thing is about. It's we have a segment called Roast It or Toast It, where we toast to things that we like or roast things that we don't. And it'll be things like influencers that are like going viral right now, or shows that are really talked about right now, or just the concept of a group chat or a getting gifts on Valentine's Day. And it's very, people may call it harsh. I just think it's the way that people talk normally and not online. And you know this, so much online, so much on TikTok.
Online is scary.
It's terrifying. Anything you say can be,
literally anything can be spun into something like negative, or like you can be like canceled for like anything. How do you deal with like trolls or just like opinions of people like online? Because I'm sure you get a lot of that.
There's a lot of I heard this great term in my comments the other day. It was like a nitpick me. You know this term, pick me girls, right?
No, I don't.
Oh my God.
Old. Okay, tell me.
Okay, so pick me girls, I think it's a very Gen Z term, and it's a girl who conducts her life in such a way to be appealing to men. So maybe puts other girls down, or like pretends to like things even though we know that she doesn't, for the purpose of
that makes
like
sense.
Men. So the nitpick me's would be people who are like nitpicking for the sake of like looking woke, or looking a way that they're actually not. Like they don't even know what they're nitpicking about.
Right.
So the nitpick me's would be people who, like you said, they're trolling me, and we all know that nothing I said was wrong or offensive or anything, but they'll kind of spin it in such a way like, but did you mean it like this? Like it's really not that deep. So I don't know, that and like the hate comments, I just let them roll off my back as like, either I use them for comedy, I respond to them and make a joke out of them. And I think that it does really well. Like people like to see that sort of, it takes a little bit of bravery to talk to these people.
Totally.
But I tell people, like, if you don't believe what they're saying, don't defend yourself or apologize for it. Because if you apologize, you believe that their weird nitpick comment that you know you didn't do anything wrong, but you're just afraid. So you're going to say, I'm so sorry, I've learned now. But it's like, what did you learn? This person didn't teach you anything. You didn't say anything wrong. We have to talk like normal people. We have to not apologize for things that we didn't do wrong. And of course, that means that when you do something wrong, you apologize. But come on, there's a lot of nitpicking out there and a lot of, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Totally. I think that's something like I personally struggle with. I'm like, I'm not going to put anything out there that's like even going to be like semi-controversial.
Right.
Like, God forbid I say like I don't like princess cut diamonds. Like everyone's going to come after me. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And
your princess cut diamond is like my
not
Taylor
saying that I
Swift
don't
song.
like princess cut diamonds. They're great for, you know, your personal taste, just not mine. But even like things like that, people will like come after me for. So I'm like, I'm just going to be like super vanilla just to avoid any conflict.
Right. It really also hinders creativity in that way. And I don't want to make this whole Joe Rogan-esque argument of like the woke left and the wokeness is making it so that we can't be funny. So much of this is necessary.
Well, I think that's a little bit true. And I think you've spoken about that, right? Like what are your thoughts on like Gen Z and like their wokeness? You're Gen Z, right?
I am Gen Z.
Yeah,
I'm 23. I guess that, I don't exactly know what the cutoff is, but I feel like I'm right on the edge of Gen Z. Yeah. Very young millennial, very old Gen Z. So I mean, look, one of the things that you said we were going to be discussing was like, what is wokeness? And I think that there is a divide between what wokeness, quote unquote, is on the internet and what wokeness means to me, I think, is like just openness and curiosity and a desire to understand lives that you will never be able to fully understand, but to know more, to be open to apologizing and learning and moving forward. I think that's it. Like just a curiosity. I don't think wokeness means you've read every single book on critical race theory. I think that it means you have a desire to have conversations about this. You have an awareness of your own personal biases and you want to address them. Just being open. I think that's wokeness. And I don't think it's that complicated. And I think that if everybody possess that. I mean, I don't know. A lot of people call it wokeness. I mostly just call it empathy.
Yeah,
but
I was gonna say it sounds like empathy, like
empathy.
Just understanding, you know, where someone else is coming from.
Exactly. No, that's a good point. It's like I hear wokeness all the time. I'm like, isn't this just basic? I don't know, bare minimum empathy. But
well, I think that we start out with it wanting to be empathy, but then like the wokeness is like the kind of like scary part of it. Right?
Exactly. So yeah, and then there's wokeness on the internet, which people think means you have to be perfect all the time and you can't say anything ever wrong. You know, there's a reason that they're called, for example, microaggressions. It's because this is a person who didn't mean to say anything wrong but did, and it's a great learning opportunity. Obviously, every situation has nuance, and we're getting really deep here, but like every situation, you have to have a conversation about these things. But no, I think a lot of cancel culture is not fair. I do think that there are people who deserve their platforms taken away, but there is such thing as learning and growing. And a lot of these young people on the internet, 14, 15-year-olds, think that, you know, you can't make a mistake or you can't learn, and that it's not conducive to progress. It doesn't. Right.
And a 14, 15-year-old like doesn't know everything perfect. So
you'd be surprised how many 14-year-olds think they know like more than me, for example. I'm 10 years older than you. Come on.
I know. And it can be, I wouldn't want to be a teenager right now. I feel like it would be like a really like scary place to, you're always like walking on eggshells and people are calling you out. But I think we do need to be like more open to like people like learning and growing.
Right. Exactly. No, walking on eggshells is a good point. That's kind of how it is on TikTok. But you just have to, you have to fight that. You have to not be so afraid. And people tend to like, I don't know. I feel like if you aren't so afraid of saying the wrong thing and you just talk and be yourself and people can see your real true character, then in the event that maybe you do screw up and say something that can be construed in a wrong way,
they give you the benefit of the doubt.
They say she's a genuine person. She's shown us who she is and she's not trying that hard and she's just being herself and she's apologized now. Like, I think they're more willing to understand that. So, yeah.
Where do you draw like inspiration for your content? Like, I know a lot of it is your everyday life, but how are you like always coming up with like new things to talk about?
I honestly don't know. And like, I think every single day after I post like a things I hate video, I'm like, that'll be the last one because I don't know if I can think of anything else. Like I feel like I should go through and count. I've listed hundreds and hundreds of things. And they're all these weird little, Like,
and it's so funny because they're so specific, and like sometimes I'll be like, oh my god, I really hate that too, but never thought about it before.
right.
Yeah.
I love when people like remind me of things I've never thought that I hated, but I do. Like people will DM me too. So sometimes I do take ideas from that. I try not to steal from the people who DM me, but like I'll notice like people will comment and I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. And it takes me to another thing that I hate. But I don't know. Like every day I wake up and there's something. I look around and there's always something.
What are some things that you hate today?
Today, okay. I mean, there's simple things. The train was late. I don't know. There's people manspread on the train. There's somebody, okay, you're walking down the stairs and you're trying to get into the subway. You're walking down the stairs anywhere. If you're going to be a slow walker, you need to like get to the side. Always stand on the side. And usually the people split up naturally into two lines up and down. If you're a very, very slow walker, you get somewhere out of that line. Like it's not enough just to go to the side. I think that honestly, there are some people who shouldn't even like, if you really can't walk downstairs, you got to get on the elevator. If you really can't walk, like, I'm sorry, not everything is meant to be accessible for everybody. You're slowing down the entire place. You got to get out of the way. I don't know. And
I hate when people walk in groups like 2s and 3s that take up the whole sidewalk and they're slow walkers. Oh my God. There's nothing worse than that.
It's like, it's just a complete lack of awareness about everyone in the world around you. And then sometimes when I'm drunk, I am that person with my friends and somebody from behind me is like, hey, move. I'm like, fuck you. You can't just let us have fun and be happy. But that's who I am when I'm sober.
Yeah.
So we all make mistakes.
Hey everyone, Olivia here. Hope you're enjoying our episode. Our Clear Cut collection features fine jewelry pieces inspired and designed with you in mind. Our collection is ever-changing and each piece is handmade and made to order here in New York City. Don't forget to check it out and use the code COZY, C-O-Z-Y, for free shipping on any purchase. So we're going to play a little game, a little spin-off of your things that I hate. We're going to have 4 diamond engagement rings that, you know, are perfectly beautiful, that are great for someone, but we're going to see what you might love about them, but also what you might hate about them.
Okay, great.
Be honest,
I'm in.
It's totally your opinion.
You're so kind the way you say, oh, this might be great for somebody. I wouldn't preface it with that.
I mean, they're objectively pretty, but, you know, let's get your opinion.
Oh my God.
Okay, we'll start with a really like softball one.
Okay. I did not expect to be getting a ring this Valentine's Day. Now here somebody's handing me a ring.
So this is a more unusual ring. Okay. It's a really elongated 3-carat oval diamond and it's set east-west on a diamond pave band.
Pave band, what's that?
That's like the small diamonds like in the band.
Okay, I'm glad you told me that because I've always liked that. And I didn't know what it was called. So now I know. I'll tell the future boyfriend that I don't have that that's what I want.
And feel free to try them on if you would like.
Oh my God, okay. Oh my God, this is so exciting. I love the band. I don't like the way that the diamond is. I don't like oh great, now it's getting stuck on my finger. I don't love the shape. I don't like ovals in general. Like I don't like oval shaped anything. There was an oval shaped coffee table when I moved into my apartment. I'm like, I hate the way that looks. I don't know why. This is a beautiful band. I hate the oval.
Do you like it east-west?
Yeah, is that what I'm explaining? The east-west? I don't know. What's the east-west?
That it's set sideways. So here.
Right. Okay, but even if it were straight, I don't love it.
Why don't you like ovals?
They're like such a dumb shape. Like it just be a circle. I don't know. It's like so weird to me. Like a rectangle is like, it's the same thing with a square. Just be a square. I hate that it's long on one side. It's not a shape that I like, but I do like that it's unique. That's a big thing for me. I do like unique.
Okay.
And I see you have like some like colored-ish ones over there that I like that. Something a little colored in the light. I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking at.
What about this one? This is a very classic. It's a round brilliant with tapered baguettes on a platinum band.
Okay. Love. Here's my thing. It's a bit too round this time. I don't know why. It's a bit too round. I love the baguettes on either side. That's something I have one of my mom's wedding rings.
How many wedding rings did she have?
She has 2. She got married twice. Once when she was very, very young. I think like probably 23, 22.
So your age?
Yeah, literally my age. I found out because we were all, her and my godmom and I were all sitting and looking at pictures from their childhood, and I saw her in a wedding dress. And I recognized her pictures with my dad from their wedding.
Yeah.
And this was not that.
So you found out recently?
Oh, I found out when I was like 11.
Okay.
And here's the issue. So they had tried to lie to me. They're like, oh, it's a costume party. And I was like, okay, then why is Nana there? Like, it's like our whole family's at this college costume party. So they said, you know, Mom was married before. It's very common. You get married maybe a couple times in life. And that's when I learned you can have more than one wedding ring sometimes. And this is very similar to what that ring looked like. Okay. But then I got convinced that this guy was my true father because he was blonde and my dad is brunette and I'm blonde. So then I had to learn all about how if the person existed 10 years before me, he cannot be my father. Yeah. Anyway.
But a lot of life lessons learned.
Many. And this ring reminds me of that time in my life. But I do love it. I just think that the center diamond is a bit too round for me, but I love the sides.
Okay. So that one was a little too ovally. This one's a little too round. This is an oval that's not as ovally as the other one.
Okay.
So this is an 5.3 carat oval in a simple like gold solitaire.
Okay. I have a lot to say. Okay. I hate gold.
You're wearing a lot of gold.
I know. I don't like gold for a wedding ring, which is so weird because I'm a gold girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense though, because a lot of bridal jewelry is usually like in platinum.
Yes, exactly. I love platinum. I don't know, for some reason, it's just bridal jewelry. It can't be gold. And once again, this is an oval. Yeah. So this is not my fave. It reminds me for some reason. Every time I see a gold band, I think of the Carrie and Aiden ring. Mm-hmm. If you've seen Sex and the City, you know Aiden got Carrie this ring. And
it was a pear shape, right?
It was a pear-shaped diamond, which this is not, but it was a gold band. And maybe that's like the internal, I saw the show when I was very young, so that's the internal bias it's set in me. Like I have this feeling of 4 women just disgust when I think of a gold band, but I don't know. It's like she knew right away that he wasn't the one because he got her this ring. Mm-hmm. And now that's like set into me.
What do you think of the new Sex and the City show?
There's a lot to say. It goes back to our conversation about wokeness and how sometimes trying
I feel like they were trying so hard. It was insane.
It's just also, I love when a lot of shows like address these types of subjects really well. I don't think that all media should just ignore what's going on in reality.
No, yeah.
Maybe we don't need Sex in the City to do that. Like, what if this show was just a show about 4 rich white ladies and like that's
3.
what it is? 3 now. Yeah, sorry. That's what it is. Like they talk about their rich white lady things and that's it. Mm-hmm. That's okay. Like I don't need to hear them do this.
I'm just like not convinced of like the new Miranda. Like she would like go off and like do this.
There's no way. No. And I get a lot of people, I made comments about this on my TikTok, and a lot of older women were saying, you know, you're acting as though life just ends when you're 30 and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, well, we knew these characters so well. Yeah. No, you can't just change them up. You don't change completely between 35 and 50.
Maybe they're going through a midlife crisis.
Right. But every single character in the show is going through a midlife crisis, really. They couldn't just give us like one.
Also, why didn't she call 911? That's like just the weirdest thing ever.
Great question. Because they needed to get rid of Chris Noth or whatever. But I mean, now we know why. Yeah. But yeah, I understand. I kind of got why she didn't call 911, actually. I was like, okay, she like knows that he's gone. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they were just, I think that it was like, it's done. It's a done deal. He's done. So you might as well go get your last kiss, babes. But yeah.
So no to the gold.
It's a no to the gold. I see one that I like, I think.
This one is a 4.6 carat cushion set in a pave band with 3-sided halo.
Okay. This is the one.
This is the one?
This is the one. I like this one a lot. It's a little bit big for me. It's a little, I tend to get nervous about a big ring.
As you get older, like, that will go away.
I know. Yeah. But I look at Kim Kardashian, for example. I'm like, isn't she afraid that someone's
she did get robbed.
Yeah, exactly. So how are you able to wear a ring this fucking big? Like,
that's like a lot bigger. That one was like 20 carats or something.
Right. No, I would be scared that somebody would just chop my hand off. Yeah. Imagine how much that would be worth. Her fingers plus the ring. Anyway.
I mean, yeah.
The black market, baby. So this is gorgeous. I love it. I literally love everything about it. It's a little big, but that's it. I don't know. Is it popular? Do you think a lot of people like what do you call it? The pave band?
Pave band is very classic. It's just like a little like extra sprinkling.
Right.
Do you like the halo element?
I do. I just think it makes it like really big.
Yeah.
It's just a lot. But hey, you know, if
I
you're
call
a
it
lot,
like
you're
a
lot.
push-up bra for the diamond.
A push-up bra for the diamond. Ugh, I love your terminology. I love that. I'm really learning a lot. You're making this very accessible for
good.
me. A person who doesn't know anything about this stuff. Wow, look at me. I can't even get it all the way on my finger because I'm so chubby. On my fingers. Okay, beautiful.
So no hate. You don't hate anything about this.
I don't hate anything about it.
Wow. Okay, we found the one.
Yeah, that's the one.
Awesome. Well, thanks for playing.
Yeah, thank you for having me in your game. They're so beautiful. I feel so excited. I feel like I've just been proposed to.
So what are some of like your favorite things since moving to New York, and what are some things that you like just hate?
Funny you say that, because one of the things I hated earlier was something in the train, but one of my favorite parts of New York is the public transportation. I like really, having been
Because you don't
LA,
have that in LA. Yeah.
I've never had it. I don't like driving. So being in LA, I would have to factor in travel time to everything I did, and everything is so spread out in LA.
It's like 30 minutes away for everything.
Everything you do is at least 30 minutes away, and especially when you're not driving, you don't necessarily have the control over that. So I would always be concerned about, even when do I order my Uber? I'm going to factor in an extra 15 minutes just to sit down and get the Uber, because who knows how long it'll take to book the Uber.
Yeah.
And it's going to take extra money to do that too. And I have to, okay, then an hour, I'm going to leave an hour before I'm supposed to be there. So I'm going to shower an hour before I'm supposed to be there. It's a whole process, and it ends up taking up your whole day.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas here, everywhere I go, like for this, I'm like, great, I'm going to give myself 25 minutes. No matter what, 25 minutes. I feel like you can get anywhere in this city.
That's true.
I just get on the train and I go, and it was the easiest thing. And even the train was like stopping a ton while I was on the way here. Still got here. Like it just, it's changed my entire life to be able to not factor in so much travel time. I'm also not closing myself to opportunities. Like in LA, if somebody wants to hang out, I'll be like, ugh, like, but this person lives in Venice and I'm in West Hollywood.
Yeah,
like,
and then
it's
you
such a
don't do
schlep.
that.
But here, they could live all the way uptown. I'm like, it's still really not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
It's just a straight line up there. Like, I'll hang out with anybody now because they're so easy to get to. So it's changed my whole life. Weather sucks, and my tiny, tiny apartment sucks, and, you know, rats and roaches suck.
But yeah, like I was saying, this is like your hazing time.
Exactly.
It's like your early 20s when you like deal with that, and then it gets, well, it's still cold out, but
right. But all of that other stuff will get
Yeah.
better, I think. I'm getting hazed for sure by this city.
when I lived in like a small apartment in the East Village when I was like a junior in college here, and I had like a rodent infested situation. I still have PTSD from it. Like if I see a shadow moving, I'm like, is that a mouse?
No, that's exactly how I feel. Luckily, I have not seen a mouse or a rat in my place, but I did see one cockroach.
I think I saw your TikTok.
You probably did. Oh my God, it was one of the worst moments of my life. Thank God, apparently when
You
they're like
handled it
really
well.
big, I think I did too. It was a really like, it built character for me. But apparently when they're really big, it's like usually a one-off. Like the really small ones are what you have to worry about because then they're breeding. But I only found one. So I think it came in like a package or something. Oh my God. I can't open up a drawer anymore. I have to like make some noise before I walk into my apartment because I want them to all scurry away.
Yeah.
Like, I just freak out all the time. Anyway, now I'm looking at new apartments, but that's a whole different story.
What is like some advice you would give to, you know, someone that wants to start creating content or making comedy or putting themselves out there?
I'd say you can't be embarrassed. Like you're going to be thinking a lot about what other people are saying when they see your videos. And especially like the way TikTok works, if you sign up for TikTok with your phone number, then everyone who's ever had your phone number starts seeing your TikToks.
Oh,
even if they
really? I
don't
didn't
follow
know that.
Now you know. Anyone who's listening, sorry to break it to you. It's a very harsh, rude awakening. But if you've used your phone number to sign up for TikTok, anyone who has your phone number will now be seeing your TikToks. And I don't know. I used to get comments all the time from people who would like find them before it started to grow, before the account went viral. You know, I just saw this, like, aren't you a little bit, like, that was a lot that you shared or like whatever. And you tend to forget that people you know are looking. And the minute you remember, you can really clam up and be like, oh my God, how am I being perceived?
Right.
And it's always like, you're always a joke until you're a genius, right? Like look at anybody in any career field ever.
That's a good line.
Always embarrassing to do whatever you're doing until you are successful. And then you are the innovator and you paved your own way. Like it's, you know, you'll be tempted to maybe get a 9-to-5 or whatever, do the conventional job thing, be traditional because you'll be embarrassed to go the other route. But nobody who's really, really successful did that. Like everybody did something. Everyone who's really successful
Everyone
in
who's
comedy,
successful did something like embarrassing.
something that people were like cringing at.
We always say, like, if you're not embarrassed by like your first launch or like your first video or whatever, then like you waited too long.
Exactly. No, like even listening to my first podcast episode, I was like, this needs tweaking. But I think that's good because
Put it out there, get feedback. Like,
I need the feedback, and I needed to just do it anyway. Like, what I'm sure it would have been a lot better if I'd waited till I was 26. But I don't have time. I'm going to do it now, you know? I want to do it now. So I think, yeah, if you're trying to start any sort of, especially creative careers, but this also applies to like, you want to start a new, be the next like Elon Musk and like program something new. I don't know. People are going to think that you're crazy and they're going to cringe at you and laugh at you. A lot of people, I'm sure, laughed at Jeff Bezos or whatever. But now like, it's literally, you're cringing all the way to the bank. Like it's cringy until you do well. And then all of those people are going to start texting you and asking to hang out. So that's how it works.
And where do you see yourself in like the next 5 years?
5 years. I mean, I don't want to put myself down by saying, oh, I hope it doesn't happen. I don't know. To manifest it, I'd love to have my own show like on TV. I would like to switch over to TV, whether that's like a talk show or some sort of narrative thing. Like I've written a script and it's been bought. But I'd like to have either started that or been doing that. I really don't want to die without an Emmy nomination. And I know that that's like, it's these institutions like the Oscars and Emmys like don't even matter anymore, really. I feel like they're so rigged and nobody really cares about them. And it's not the mark of a good show.
But you can still have your goals.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. It's just, I need to like visualize that in order to keep going. So I know that like, you know, TikTok and the internet is the future, but it's always been a stepping stone. And I want to, in the next 5 years, use it to channel this audience into television, write something, I don't know, get a little bit more political, a little bit more adults, and not as much just teen comedy.
So like a Stephen Colbert or something like that.
Oh my God, please. I just went to Stephen Colbert the other night.
Really?
I went to the
How
Late
was
Show.
it?
It was one of the most exciting experiences
It's right
of my
by our
life.
apartment.
It's right on the corner from here. I truly I cried a little bit when I got home just because I saw pictures of myself. I got to sit behind the desk and everything.
You did? Did you meet him?
Oh my God, I wish. No, but I have this lovely friend who works for him and she has this great high up position. She's very impressive for a person our age. But she got us these front row seats and it was like, he's my everything. Him, Jon Stewart, Trevor Noah means a lot to me, John Oliver, all of those people. And it's interesting how I always name men. Of course, there's a lot of, late night hosts who are women as well. It's just like...
They're not a lot, though.
There's really not, but it's also, these are the people who... That's a whole different conversation. But I've always looked up to the male late night hosts because I feel that a lot of the women charge their political commentary with female stuff. And that's important, but at the same time, like, I don't like it when the punchline is just because I'm a woman. You know what I mean? So I like that it feels more objective when a person like John Oliver, for example, is talking about it. To me, I can relate more for some reason. But, you know, Chelsea, especially, I said before, she's a huge role model of mine too. I would cry if I met her too. So yeah, like Steven, he's my everything. So that's kind of the goal, is to be in late night, or even if it's not that, just like write a show.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
So to pivot back to jewelry, because I have to ask some questions about that. Do you have any like pieces that are like extra special or like sentimental to you?
Sure. I have this coin and I got it when I was studying abroad in Madrid and I went to Florence for a week. I guess it has like a sentimental value because it was the first time that I was very much alone in Madrid. I went for this program, an independent program, so I didn't know anybody there. And I was also very surrounded. There weren't that many Americans. I had like 2 other Americans there.
Do you speak Spanish?
I did speak Spanish while I was there. I like really got fluent, but I kind of lost my practice. Do you?
I've taken it for like my whole life, but not really.
Yeah, until you get there and get immersed, you get fluent. But yeah, so I was there and I felt very alone. So I went to visit Florence where a couple of my friends were. And it was like the first time that I felt like, okay, I'm settling into living in Europe. And it was the first time I had fun. So I got this necklace on the side of the road and I've had it ever since. And I really like it because it's silver and gold. So it ties in. If I want to wear either, it kind of brings it all together. I like to mix.
So for your platinum engagement ring and all of your gold jewelry.
Exactly. I'm shocked I haven't lost it yet. I lose everything in my life. But yeah, hopefully this will stay for a while and stick around.
What are some of like your favorite jewelry trends?
I love the layering, like stacking jewelry. I love that rings have just become like a lot of rings has become a big thing. I need to kind of collect mine. I don't have enough, but I love to see people with lots of different rings. I like that it's more acceptable now, it seems, to mix metals. I used to learn, my mom used to tell me all the time, don't mix the metals, it doesn't look good. And now I feel like people are doing it. Look at you. Everyone's doing
metals,
it.
yeah.
So I always liked the way that it looked. Even though I'll say before it was in style.
You're a trendsetter.
I was a trendsetter. But yeah, I really like the layering and the stacking. Again, my mom was always saying, too many necklaces. You can't even see them. I'm like, you don't get it. It's just a thing. I also, do you have like your ear decked out?
I don't, but everyone else does, and I'm like jealous because I feel like it's cool.
It looks so cool. I love to have my ear like professionally designed by somebody. If anybody hears this who does that,
they have that on TikTok. I've like seen like ear stylists.
Ear stylists, exactly. Yeah. I'd love to have all the piercings styled. Do you think it would look really bad?
How many piercings do you have?
Like 2 on each side. Oh. But I don't know. I'd love to do all kinds all over the place.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And so, like, what are some big exciting projects that you have like in the pipeline that you can share with us?
Down the pipeline, I've got this I host this show on Snapchat 3 times a week called The Influence, and then there's the podcast, but I'm adding a new show. It's going to be a dating advice show. I don't exactly even know if I can share the name or anything like that, but it's going to be me just talking the way that I do in a very matter-of-fact, opinionated, honest voice, but about the subject of sex and dating. So people are going to be able to ask questions.
On Snapchat?
No, it's not going to be on Snapchat. It'll be probably on TikTok.
Okay, cool.
But it's with a different media company, so it's not just my show. So it's going to be me talking from sitting in a seat, just like kind of like a practice Stephen Colbert situation. I was very drawn to it because I like the idea that I'd have like a little set and get to sit in a seat and talk like a talk show host, and like get to talk to the camera in that way. So that's what I'm doing, and that's a project that I'm really excited about. But I'm excited for the growth of this podcast, and I'm excited about the people that I'm meeting here, and like I feel like I'm just being in New York in itself has been sort of a project, branching out and building community here. And through all that,
well, there's like a huge like content creator,
for
like
sure,
influencer community here.
Yeah, and becoming part of that, and like gaining sort of notoriety in that and gaining respect among those people is a project in itself. But I also feel that I'm taking so much inspiration from the people that I'm meeting, and like I'm writing a lot more, and just, I don't know, I feel like a lot of my stuff has been very inspired by the people I'm meeting and the friends that I've made. So I'm building my network. That's the big project. Yeah, it's great.
And where can people like follow you, listen to you, all that good stuff?
I'm Talia Lichstein on everything. My last name is spelled Lichstein. Nobody can ever get it, but that's what it is. And TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, I'm all over. That's it. Oh, The Influence on Snapchat is my show. You search The Influence. There it is. You subscribe to it. Bad Vibes is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. That is a podcast by Betches Media. And it's just called Bad Vibes. You can search it up.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. I feel like I learned so much about diamonds.
Oh, good. Well, happy to share as much as you'd like to know. You definitely have to follow Talia if you aren't already, and head to our TikTok to see all the things Talia viewed. Let us know what you think.